All right, we're looking at the full moon lunar eclipse in Libra coming in on March the 25th. There's a lot to unpack here, so let's get started. First of all, we're going to look at the new moon in Pisces that we had on March the 10th, which offered a wonderful time for setting new intentions. It also offered a time to connect with our higher self, to connect with the cosmos, to align with our dreams, our desires from a more ethereal, more emotional, and more intuitive place. Around the new moon in Pisces, we also have had an overlap of energy from this full moon in Libra because it is a very strong energy. This is something I've been anticipating for a while. Well, being a Libra sun, I definitely have seen a lot of changes happen since the new moon solar eclipse in October, which I will touch on in a moment. But this full moon is going to offer a time of culmination. And myself, if you caught the big shift video that I recorded, I talked about my big shift and a trigger moment that I had that set a wave of change in motion within myself. It opened up something within myself. It was very profound. And it was that one specific event that triggered something very significant within myself. And maybe you had something like this recently. Maybe you had a new realization, or maybe you're feeling more expansive, or maybe you're feeling more sensitive. We also have a universal month number 11-2 in numerology, which is really important. The 11-2 is the most intuitive number in numerology. This offers us an incredible time to connect with our intuition, with the higher realms, and to connect with our senses. But like everything, there are poles. There are the polarizations. There is the higher polarity and there is the lower polarity. And the 11 can swing high or fall into the depths. This is why I'm going to be talking about the full moon in this regard, because it can bring up our unconscious, unseen aspects within. But it also can offer incredible closure in certain areas of our lives. First of all, I want to look at the South and North Node that has been highlighted for quite some time, especially around the solar eclipse in Libra that we had in October. We have Aries season coming in on March the 20th, along with the spring equinox. So we have a shift in seasons. Now, this is going to happen a bit differently in the southern and northern hemispheres. In the northern hemispheres, we're moving into spring. Southern is going to be moving into fall, which is interesting because fall is in alignment with Libra in the northern hemisphere and vice versa. So we have a little bit of a crossover here in this change of seasons. The change of seasons with this cardinal energy ushers in a new sense of self. It ushers in a new experience. It ushers in new change. Something new is shifting. And this, I'm sure you are experiencing on some level. When we work with the natural rhythms of nature, we are in more flow. Even during the challenging times, even during the darkness that we just came out of in the northern hemisphere, we had winter. There was also a lot of really heavy energy with that for a lot of people, myself included. But with the harder times, with the more difficult times, the challenging times, we also we can witness, if we're doing this work, incredible profound change and realizations, actualization, enlightenment within ourselves. We become more aware of certain aspects that we haven't seen because of our depths. And we have to go into those depths in order to understand ourselves more, in order to transmute that which has been maybe limiting us in some kind of way into our greatness. And this truly is the time in this crossover of seasons that we're in where we get to witness that change. So as I mentioned, being in Aries season here, approaching this spring equinox, approaching spring, a new season, renewal, rebirth, activation, creation. Aries is the first zodiac in the zodiac calendar, offering a time of rebirth. Where have you changed? What has grown within yourself as far as a new realization, a new idea, starting to align maybe more with your authenticity, feeling more liberated perhaps, or just feeling excited and empowered and optimistic about your future? These are some of the themes that could be floating around right now, or that can be entering your orbit. So let's venture back to October during the solar eclipse in Libra. What has started to change? What new realizations have you had pertaining to relationships, pertaining to those who you want close to your life, meaningful relationships, close relationships? Maybe some have faded away. Maybe some have changed. Maybe there have been new incredible relationships enter your life. Because we have the South Node in Libra currently, there is, I feel, a very, very powerful karmic tie to relationships. And relationships are very important in our lives, and they can also stir up a lot of discomfort and angst within ourselves. So perhaps for some of you out there, you are cycling out a karmic relationship or ties or attachments or memories to someone who has affected you deeply. And these karmic relationships can affect us in profound ways. They show us aspects about ourselves that we need to face. Maybe the art of letting go. Maybe spending time by ourselves to heal ourselves. Maybe being discerning around what kind of relationships we do want in our lives. These are all going to be up for question, but reflection at this time as we are entering this powerful, potent full moon in Libra, this lunar eclipse. So take some time to reflect on where relationships have shifted in your life. Also looking at karma and how karma plays out in our lives. There are different beliefs in karma. Buddhism talks about the law of cause and effect. So basically what goes around comes around. If we do bad or harm, then it's going to come back to us. Not too long ago, I read a book by Lisa Barnett talking about the ancient wisdom of the Akashic Records. In her research and her studies working with the Akashic Records, she had learned that karma is basically a loop or a cycle that needs to close. Wherever your beliefs lie, use this reference of karma to your own discernment, how it plays into your life perhaps, or how it has affected yourself or even relationships within your life. Karma, no matter what the true meaning is, I do feel there is a little bit of both of those wrapped into the meaning of karma. I feel that karma does offer us a deep, deep moment for change and healing and realizations. As I tend to look at the shadow aspects with full moons, this full moon lunar eclipse is going to be no exception. The archetype of Libra is offering us an ability to look within. How are we treating ourselves when it comes to relationships? Now, Libra is not exactly always a nice archetype, even though it has this really beautiful type of relation to love and to harmony, to justice, equality, fairness. But in the shadow aspect, it could be very destructive. Libra can be very accommodating up to a point. If there are injustices, indignities, a lack of righteousness, especially pertaining to Libra's beliefs and values, well, the sword is going to come swinging. Libra in its shadow aspect can walk away from a relationship instantly, can shut people out, and can call them out without even thinking twice. Now, this is a very strong shadow aspect of a cardinal sign. Negative behavior, the unconscious behavior, can happen very fast without taking time to contemplate and think things through. If there has been an injustice in your life, indignity, lack of righteousness, someone doing something that is not in alignment with your highest good, or if they trigger an aspect, an unseen shadow aspect within self that creates a volatile reaction, then the reaction sometimes can come in very fast and very strong in almost an uncontrollable way. And this is a shadow aspect of Libra. Libra in a shadow aspect can be very spiteful, can be very hurtful with words. Being an air sign, it can go straight to the heart to hurt others in ways that it feels hurt or in ways that it sees the injustice being done. Libra will fight for others, but mostly it will fight for its rights, its own rights and its own beliefs. And I do feel on a global landscape, because we are reaching a bit of a tipping point in many ways where a lot of injustices are being made. A lot of people are also standing up for their rights. We are in the age of Aquarius. We do have Pluto in Aquarius. So I feel these two energies together are quite hot. Aquarius, of course, stands for humanitarianism, stands for human rights, equality, but also innovation and progress. Where can change be created within old infrastructures and old paradigms in order to accommodate the shift in consciousness? So this is already happening. It's happening all over the world. It's happening maybe in your life as well, and it definitely within yourself individually, because this is where it starts. It starts in here with us individually, and then it ripples out and it reflects in our outer world. So this full moon in Libra not only is going to pertain to our inner journey of maybe relationships, the imbalances or balances, the indignities or injustices that we want to make right or that are being set right in our life in some form, but it also is going to apply to the collective, to the rest of the world. The energies of Pluto in Aquarius and this full moon lunar eclipse in Libra are very hot together, I feel. This is only my perspective. I haven't listened to any other astrologers, but just in reflecting and intuitively, I feel that this can come in very strong. I feel that also because this lunar eclipse offers us a time to connect with our unconscious self, I feel that there is going to be a lot of unconscious activity coming to the surface. Because of what I mentioned, Libra being very quick thinking and sometimes acting out of haste, the hastefulness can erupt great change, but it may be destructive. The destructive nature of this sign can create a great impact because it allows for us to see something that has been unseen, that has been hidden under the surface. And I'm sure you can relate to a moment where you've had an outburst or you've done something in haste, perhaps, maybe not you fixed signs out there, but definitely the cardinal, the mutable, but hey, we're all in this together. So if it relates to you, you've done something in haste, you said something in haste, you've done something maybe even destructive because of an emotional reaction to something. This is a common relation to what I'm mentioning. When we have that eruption, when we have that quick flinch, that quick reaction to a situation, to maybe what someone says or what someone does, we can completely blow the situation out of the water. And then we can take a time out to take pause and look at ourselves at what we had done. The dust settles, we have a clean slate. Then what do we want to do with that? Well, make constructive changes in our lives. Hopefully that is the case after the situation. That is how we change. We look at our unconscious selves, those volatile moments, those moments of flux, those moments of change that come in and almost take over our level of consciousness. This is from the shadow. And this is where we get to create great change, even though it feels uncomfortable and it feels almost destructive. Sometimes we need destruction in order to rebuild. Well, not sometimes, pretty much all the time. This is the cycle. And we will only understand ourselves through those moments. When we go through these eruptions, we can create great change. And sometimes we may find ourselves giving in to what we don't want to do and what we don't believe, and surrounding ourselves with people we don't feel in alignment with, and maybe an eruption needs to occur. Maybe a new realization needs to take shape in order to see something, to illuminate an aspect that we've been living under for a long time, to shine light on a new way of being, to create meaningful relationships, to heal relationships, to let go of relationships, to cut ties, etc. And I do feel that this full moon is offering that. But also on a global landscape, it's going to could offer something very extreme. All right, so as a summary, South Node in Libra, karmic relationships. Now the relationships could be outer relationships, family, people who have come into your life and maybe left, maybe even people who need to go. Anything that is creating a deep reaction within yourself, those are karmic relationships. Those are relationships that may have run its course and run its cycle in order for you to conclude something from past soul level experiences. Or it's going to be something within yourself that is inspiring you to create balance in your life. This could change something drastic within yourself. Doesn't have to necessarily pertain to relationships in our outer world. It can pertain to something within ourselves on a deep level that will change how we maneuver through life, the choices we make, the actions we take, and also, of course, reflecting in the relationships that we want in our life moving forward. Maybe you've had realizations about the kind of people you want in your life, or areas in your life that you need balance. Balance is important, and it applies to everything. You can think of the polarizations in our lives. It needs balance in order to maintain the light between the dark. As we move out of the lunar eclipse in Libra, we will then move into the solar eclipse in Aries in April. I'm going to record a whole separate video on that, of course, because there is going to be a lot of information pertaining to that particular solar eclipse as well. But we are entering this lunar eclipse under the theme of relationships, karmic relationships, soul relationships, also the relationship within ourselves. And how does that apply into the context of we working with others, while also maintaining agency over the I? What is important for me as we are in Aries season? What is important for me in the context of the we? How can I not overextend myself and overstep my own boundaries while maintaining the me, so I don't have to explode and blow things to pieces when I am overstepping my own boundaries, when I'm overstepping my authenticity, when I am not valuing myself. We all have a little bit of that tipping point within ourselves. When we are not honoring our values, our beliefs, our authenticity, then yes, there are going to be unfortunate destructive consequences as a result. If we are honoring our heart, our values, our beliefs, then we are going to maintain a level of balance in our lives. All right, so I hope this offered some guidance on your journey and beyond. Don't forget to go back and watch my big shift video shown here. I share a little bit of a recent story that I had gone through, as we are in incredible times right now of shifting, of peering beyond the veil of illusions, understanding our whole self, our whole being, and working our way through greater self-actualization. I'm wishing you all the best, and I will see you again very soon. Take care.